Hi, my name is Boki, and I like playing the support role in Dota 2. I'm currently 6.6 MMR and have gotten here by almost exclusively playing the position 5. In this video, I talk about not being needed in lane, how to recognize it, and what to do when you're not. As the position 5, the role with the lowest resource priority, the outcome of the laning stage will dictate how effective you can be in any particular game. The laning stage is all about maximizing the amount of resources you and your carry get. You or your carry getting that 1 or 2 levels sooner than usual can have a massive impact on games. For you, the support, the most important resource you want to get from the laning stage is of course experience. But there is a catch. If you are not actively doing something for your carry in the lane, being beside them and leeching experience will negatively impact yours or your carry's potential. This is something we want to avoid at all costs. If we are not needed in lane, we need to be doing something else. Well, what does being in lane mean? In lane means being beside your carry in experience range of dying creeps. It means harassing, denying creeps, getting CS your carry can't, and posturing around your carry. Pulling does not mean you are in lane. So when are you not needed in lane? I have found it's usually one of these 3 lane scenarios. The safest thing to do after you recognize one of these is to pull. Also, as you lane, the most important thing you need to constantly ask yourself is, am I needed in this lane? This is usually the case when the enemy offlaner is left alone in a 2v1, as it is in this clip. In this scenario, your carry is able to get last hits or harass with little to no risk. Actively laning with my lifestealer here would be considered game ruining. He does not need me to farm and harass, so I have no business leeching his experience. By regularly pulling, I have secured solo experience for myself and my carry while denying a creep or 2 every wave. If that gets out of position, we make sure we punish it. I'm pulling at the 15th second of every minute because I want to get as much experience as I can, and if I pull at the 45th second of a minute, the small camp will not die in time for the full minute respawn. That in turn will make me miss out on the experience of a full small camp. Also, I'm not so concerned about denying creeps here, which is why I'm not pulling through to the big camp. Sometimes this will even apply in a 2v2, but quite rarely. For example, in this Bane clip, I noticed that the enemy duo was incredibly passive, and as a result, I abused the pull as much as I could. Yes, this allowed Nightstalker to pretty much freefarm, but my carry is a Terrorblade. A weak laner like TB should never have been allowed to have the amount of farm and levels this particular Terrorblade had. Again, in my head, I'm constantly asking myself, am I needed? And here I noticed TB was in little to no risk while farming, which was a cue for me to abuse pulling. Sometimes you will lane with a carry hero that has no lane presence or face an incredibly strong offlane duo. In a lane like this, just being around the creep wave is dangerous for both you and your carry. You laning with them will still not allow them to farm without one of you taking heavy harass or even dying. This scenario is not that common and it's tough to spot while it's happening. If you think this scenario applies, pulling is again the thing to do. Ideally, you would want to pull the same way we talked about in scenario 1. But here, we want to pull as soon as possible, so any pull will do. The reason you want to pull here is twofold. Number 1, if you successfully pull, you will bring creeps close to or under your tower, which will allow your carry to safely farm them. Number 2, by pulling or attempting to pull, you will force the enemy position 4 to contest that pull, which will leave your carry in a 1v1. Now this 1v1 matchup might not necessarily allow your carry to farm freely, but it will ease some pressure off of them. I thought this was the case for this Oracle game. This game started on the wrong foot with me having a massive brain fart and blocking my own creeps. I immediately knew I messed up and I went to deward our small camp so I can reset the lane. I was scared of pulling the big camp because of the risk of Tiny tossing me back on the nearby creep wave. As I was dewarding the camp, my troll took heavy harass. At this point he was very unhappy with me and he let me know. My plan from the start of this game was to pull and keep Tiny busy, while allowing my troll to do fine versus the bounty in a 1v1. The reason I thought I could not lane with troll was because of my previous experiences playing against Tiny. I felt that unless the creep wave is really close to our tower, at which point troll doesn't really need me to farm anyways, I'm in a huge risk of being run at by the Tiny who started with boots and has toss ready. This becomes even more true the moment Tiny hits level 2, as it allows him to close the gap even more. I'm still not sure if my train of thought here was correct. I was just really scared I would feed if I tried to lane. My troll player felt I ruined his laning stage and he was not happy. In this particular example, I ended up leaving him alone in the lane because I felt I would agitate him more by staying. Sometimes leaving the lane completely can be the right play. Here it was because I felt my troll was upset with me and I did not want to risk doing something wrong again to tilt him even more. When the lane is too far from your tier 1 tower, your carry will not feel safe farming there, since there is a big risk of rotations coming from either the enemy tier 1 or through the river. Also, you will not be able to effectively pressure the enemy, since they will have their tier 1 tower close to them, making it uncomfortable for you to be aggressive. This happens in every single game, but it is more noticeable in 2v2 lanes. Here we can utilize both the small and big camp to pull back the lane. The reason we are not needed in this scenario is because we do not want the lane to stay far up for a long period of time. The longer the lane is pushed close to the enemy tier 1 tower, the more likely it is we're gonna get ganked, because the enemy sees us farm from the safety of our own tier 1 tower. The lane being pushed will also make it really hard for your teammates to rotate and gank. Pay attention to the creep wave and whether the lane is pushing or not, and be ready to pull it back. So to ensure your laning stage goes well, focus on looping through these 3 scenarios and constantly asking yourself, am I needed? If you think any of these 3 scenarios applies, go pull. If you think you are needed in lane, the only thing you should do is lane with your carry. The same things I mentioned before: posturing, harassing, denying creeps, and getting CS your carry cannot. I'll be making a video on support laning mechanics at some point. Ideally, you would recognize these situations before it is time to pull, but that will come with experience and time played. Don't feel bad if you misread the situation and make mistakes that lose you the lane. That's okay, it will happen a lot as you learn. Making mistakes is the best way to learn in Dota. Alright, that's it from me for this topic. If you have any feedback, both good and bad, please let me know. I'd love to hear it. Thank you for your time and thank you for watching.